This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Rocky Mountain Reserve. But before that, this video is brought to you by Patrick Cornier and Schultz Modding. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Rocky Mountain Reserve map, which actually has been out for about 11 months now, can be found over an itch.io site. You can find a link to download that in the description below. I just recently became aware of this map over at my Discord, and I thought, you know what? This map is pretty good. Let's go ahead and put a video out. Now, this map is a 4X map, and since it is not released over at the Giants Mod Hub, it is going to be available for PC players only. Let's read a little bit of the description. We're going to be taking a look at version 1.0.0.3 of this map. This map has 112 fields and 201 viable farmlands. It does have traffic and is precision farming ready, and there are also multiple logging areas. This map also does not have any required mods, but we are going to be using the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the starting farm is going to be a little bit different than what you see here in new farmer mode. In fact, oddly enough, a few of the buildings are missing, but a few of the buildings are going to remain in those alternate game modes. In addition, the alternate farms that are available on this map are built out exactly how you're going to see them here in those alternate game modes. You do not own any land in those alternate game modes, nor do you have any starting machinery. Now that the map is loaded in, we do start here at the main starting farm, which is located in the northwest corner of the map. Let's go and take a look at the PDA. And remember, this is a 4X map, so these fields are going to be much, much larger than they initially appear on this PDA. We do have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22 on this map, in addition to the premium expansion crops of red beet, carrots, and parsnips. Taking a look at our farmland overview screen, we start by owning farmland ID 1, and in any alternate game mode, you're going to need to buy that for $1.5 million. That's why I'm going to suggest that all players start out in new farmer mode, because you do have some starting fields in that game mode, and the land on this map is fairly expensive. In addition to the main starting farm, we also have a horse farm that is available at farmland ID 9. That can be bought for $630,000, as well as the cow farm at farmland ID 186. And that can be bought for $491,000. There are two biogas plants on this map. One is located at farmland ID 185 for $384,000, and the second is going to be located here at farmland ID 125, and that is going to be able to be purchased for a whopping $0. It is free, so let's go ahead and pick that up. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, and lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us. As you can see, the farmlands on this map are going to be fairly expensive because, again, this is a 4X map, so a lot of these farmlands are much, much larger than they would initially appear, assuming that this is a standard size map. And then once we get done with this, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our field calculator screen. That is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. Then we can go ahead and cross-reference that with a farmland screen here to see how much any one field might cost. So you see we start up at owning fields 32, 33, 34, and 42. 42, I believe, was picked up when we bought the BGA. So our fields are 5.04, 3.96, 2.5, and 3.28 hectares, respectively. As we scroll down through this list, we can see several fields are going to be ranging anywhere between 3 and 20 hectares. There are a few that are smaller than 1, but the vast majority of these are going to be anywhere between 3 and 20. So this map is going to be pretty good for medium-sized machinery. We are taking a look at our standard FS22 crop counter available to us on this particular map. And if we take a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22, as well as our eggs, wool, and milk, and our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we continue down through all of the base game productions, we once again do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game productions that are available to us once again in FS22. We do have the ability to buy bulk lime, as well as a way of getting rid of our stones. If you do want to do some platinum expansion production with respect to those forestry areas, do note you will need to put down your own sell point for the platinum expansion. But if you are going to be using the premium expansion productions or crops, do note you will have the ability to sell those. In addition, you do have the ability to sell your pellets if you are playing with straw harvest. And if you are playing with pumps and hoses, you can get rid of your separated manure. Taking a look at our starting vehicles, that is all owned, none of it is leased, and all well maintained. We do not have any animals at the start. We do have contracts available on this map. We also do not own any production chains at the start, and this map does not have any collectibles. Let's come back up here and take a look at our precision farming soil map, because this map is making use of a custom soil map. Now, I have to say, this has to be one of the most complex soil maps that I have seen on any map to date. Farm Sim 22, Farm Sim 19, hands down, this has got to be one of the most complex and intriguing soil maps, again, that I have seen to date. Very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. In new farm mode, we start out with the New Holland T6 175 small tractor. We have the John Deere 6230R medium tractor, as well as the John Deere 7R 270 large tractor. We have the John Deere T560 harvester that is going to be paired up with the 625X grain header and the Nardi 40B header trailer. We have our 1986 pickup truck, as well as our Crampy half-pipe HP20 trailer and Wulger DK115. We have the Lemken Corlin 9840 cultivator, as well as the Podger Terracem C6F seeder and the Lemken Azuret 9 planter. We have the Novacat 301 AM ED Pro front mower. We have the Boss Alpine 251 forage wagon. We have the Joskin Oscotrans 7300S water trailer. Then we wrap it all out with a pair of 750 kilogram front weights. Taking a look at our mods and DLCs, you will see this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements. So here at our starting farm, we do have a farmhouse with a sleep trigger here at the front door. As we continue through, we have the Erlengrot, the Alpine maps kind of garage here with our mower attached in there. Our machine shed, lots of our machines pre-parked. Water trailer, our trailers, and basically that, what you see here, those buildings are not present in farm manager mode or start from scratch. But if you load this map up in those game modes, these buildings are kind of interesting. So we have a pull-through silage bunker. It's going to be available in all game modes. We have our base game silo with our dump and fill pipes, as well as our hayloft. Those three are going to be available in those alternate game modes, but you can remove them. In fact, you can delete everything here at the main starting farm if you should so wish. Let's get a little bit of altitude and take a look around. Now remember, this map is basically the Alpine map that has been used as a basis of starting this map. And of course, the land masses have been extended out to make it 4x in size. It's a really, really interesting setup. So again, we own everything here on this side of the waterway. We have our starting fields and our starting farm. And I'm going to make use of easy dev controls just to make getting around a little bit faster. We're going to move this up to 8 times speed. And at 8 times speed, we're basically moving at the same rate we would on a standard map if we were flying around. Now, this map actually has 17 production facilities. And the first one we're going to come to is one of the 3 flour mills, or grain mills, on this map. So we have our grain mill located down there, right by our starting farm. Here we have a train silo that is missing the train, but it is still a storage silo nonetheless. And we have a bowling alley sell point here as well, down by the river. The way we're going to do the flyover, we're going to cover everything north of the river. Then we're going to cover things south of the river. North of the river, we've got a little bit of a residential and production area with a farmer's market. We have a couple restaurants located here, as well as our grocery. And then north of that, we have farmland ID 9. This is going to be the horse farm. The horse farm looks a lot like the farm that was in the northwest corner of Elm Creek. We do have our silo, we have our horse pasture, and some deco buildings back here as well. Just over the rise on the other side of this forested area, we do have a fuel trigger. And as we make our way across the northern edge of the map, we go ahead and take a look across. The vast majority of the map is fairly flat. We do have a couple hilly areas here in the corners. We have our spinnery right over here by the water tower. And then the land is just going to drop off at this point as we go over closer to the river. It does give us a good ability to kind of see the field layouts on this map. It shouldn't be very hard with respect to AI help. We're running up along the river here. We do have a few bridge crossings to get across the river. We're going to make a use of this bridge crossing right here. And here we have, well, this is the Erlengrot town. And as such, we have our chocolatier in the square building. We have our cheese factory in this L-shaped building. Our vehicle shop is not located here in town. I wish it was. It's actually located way up there, the extreme southeast corner of the map. You're going to basically have to drive diagonally all the way across the 4X map in order to get to your starting farm, which is located over there. So it is going to be a long drive to get started, unless you use something like easy dev controls to teleport or a store deliveries mod. Continuing up along the river, we have sell point below. We have another fuel station. Our dairy. And one of our 2 biogas plants. This is modeled after the Elm Creek biogas plant. We have 2 large 3-sided bunkers, 2 digesters, and I did try to sell the BGA. I was unsuccessful in doing that. It acted like it was going to sell, but the buildings did not go away. So you are going to be stuck with that BGA. You will not be able to buy that, sell the BGA, and then maybe put down your own sell point. Now, this is kind of an interesting area over here. A little landmass trying to emerge from the waterway. And then this road is going to loop us up and around. It's not a whole lot going on there. It's just a whole bunch of fields. We'll just cut across. As I said, there are 17 productions on this map. We have a sawmill, carpentry, a spinnery, a bakery, a dairy, cereal, 2 BGAs, grape processing, an oil mill, chocolatier, a cheese factory, 3 grain mills, a laundromat, and a sugar mill. Got a couple sell points below. We have our grocery. We have the laundromat that we just mentioned. Laundromat is basically the tailor. And then we have another sell point located right there for our grain. For a cereal, or not a cereal, a sugar mill, not a cereal mill. We have another large grain selling area. This particular facility, I'm trying to draw on a little bit of a blank here. This is going to be one of our flour mills. Now, north of the river, we turned away just a little bit too quick. We flew by this. We actually have our animal dealer. Our grape processing. And then we have a bale sell point located over here. Our third flour mill is going to be located along the eastern side of the map, just south of field 99. And then we have the cow farm. It's going to be located right here, kind of in the flats. So the cow area, we have a manure heap, we have a slurry tank, a silo, and a small storage shed. We have another grain sell point located right here. The second biogas plant is located right here, south of field 84. I was able to sell this BGA, but the large light poles, our light pole did remain. So if you do sell this BGA, you will need to work around that light tower and some deco elements right here, the fences and the rubber cones. Let's make our way up the hill, then to get to our sawmill and carpentry facilities. And then up the hill further to get to our vehicle shop. Like I said, here's our vehicle shop. We're going to have to drive way over there. Remember, this is a 4X map in order to get all of our vehicles and machinery. So really good idea would be to use ECDF controls and teleport your vehicles over there, or store deliveries, because that's going to be quite a long drive, as we're going to see here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and pick up our Mahindra. Then on the side of the dealer, we do have our dealer trigger and the area marked out. Let's just get a look again across the map as we jump into our Mahindra. First stop is going to be the sawmill and carpentry. Remember, as we are driving here, we're full speed at 60 miles an hour. May need to better my brakes. That's quite a decline. So, coming across here on the left. Don't want to fly off that cliff. Oh, me. Oh, my. We have our interactive icon as well as our pallet spawn point. We have our wood chip point right there. And then here we have our wood cell trigger, our interactive icon, and pallet spawn point. I believe that is going to be our carpentry. So yep, this is our carpentry facility. And our sawmill. And then over here we have our wood chip spawn point. This is going to be a wood chip cell point. And let's wind our way down this hillside. No guardrails. This really is an interesting map. I wish it did have a few more farms built out, given the fact that it is 4x in size. I feel like we probably could have had 5 or 6 farms pre-built on this map. Instead, we kind of have 3 lightly built farm areas, and the horse farm is very, very lightly built in the fact that it is pretty much just some deco buildings and then the horse pasture. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get up to that area. We're coming down from the hillside into kind of the flats area. The first thing we're going to take a look at here is going to be the cow farm. Now, the cow farm, we can sell almost everything here, but the one thing that I could not get rid of, no matter how much I tried, was the manure heap. So it's not that big of a deal because it's kind of out of the way, but still, it was something that I could not get rid of. So we have our base game cow area here. We have our slurry point on this side. We're going to have our milk trigger as well as our cow triggers then on the other side. So our milk trigger, 80 cows are going to be able to be placed here. And of course on the inside we have our food and straw triggers. We have a slurry expansion tank right beside the cow area, as well as a base game silo for grain storage. And then we have a 3-bay machine shed here for any vehicles, and a lot of area to further expand this farm. Now it does kind of slope down, so you will want to be careful with placing buildings here, but we do have a fair bit of land to further build this area out. Wide roads, so other than getting down off the mountain there, shouldn't have too much issue in driving around. Now this is going to be a dual purpose building. We have a sell point here, and then on the other side of the building you're going to see the bay is marked public storage. So this is going to also act like a bit of a silo for storing wheat, barley, oat, canola, sorghum, olives, sunflowers, soybeans, corn, potatoes, sugar beet, sugar cane, seed, wood chips, hay pellets, carrots, red beets, parsnips, straw pellets, and off we go. So not everything, but a lot of things. It's West Bridge Hills. We have Larson's Loyal Livestock and Johnson's Farmers Market. I like when we have road signs like that. They are relative to the map and give the map a bit of realism, a bit of immersion. We have a fuel station. And again, the second biogas plant, as I mentioned earlier. This one we can sell most of the area, and we do have a pretty good area here. We could build something else out here if we wanted to. Again, we have another one of these great signs giving us some direction on where to go. I'm actually going to turn around and grab this facility right here as we continue to make our way to the west side of the map. And as I mentioned, this map came out about 11 months ago. Looks like it was first released about the time I was at PAX 2023. It has gone through a few updates, with the last update being in May of 2023. So we've got a grain sell point right here. I actually do not have a whole lot of free time, so I don't spend too much, really if any, time looking for mods, looking for maps out on the internet. I rely very heavily on the community to recommend and suggest maps that are not on the Giants Mod Hub. So if there are maps out there that you think are worthy of a map video, and I have not covered them to date, please feel free to join the Discord and or put a comment in a video. I do try to catch all the comments. That is sometimes a little difficult, but I do try to catch all the comments, and I'll get back to you, and we'll take a look at a map. So here we have our oil mill, dump point, pallet spawn point, and of course our interactive icon is going to be here along the side. We're going to come back to the main road because we do have to get to the extreme southwest corner of the map for our next point of interest. That's how I found out about this map. There was a post in the Discord on this map which had come across a particular community member's itch.io feed. I guess they were on itch.io looking at some other things, and it was suggested to them. There's the road. Nearly missed it. This set of fields is really, really interesting. Over here to our right, it's a little hard to see them right now because of the tree line. But there's several fields that are kind of up next to a little bit of a forest that extends down and forms a little bit of a bulb there where they all kind of connect in the middle. Coming up here, it gives kind of a vibe of a mountain lodge. Coming up in here, and then here we have our cereal factory. So interactive icon, dump point, and pallet spawn point. I like having things like factories out here on the extremities. You know, if you're never going to do cereal, then you don't really have much need to come out here. But if you do want to do cereal production, well, then you're going to have a little bit of a drive in order to get down here. But still, for me, one of the pleasures of a 4X map is the drive itself. Right? Lots of people have asked before, are you going to do any auto drive tutorials? And I was like, not really. Because honestly, I never plan on using auto drive. Because I enjoy the driving aspect of going from place to place and seeing what there is to see. Other people, they don't want to do that. They just want to do the farming, or they're just more into the management aspect and want to get the AI to do as much as possible, which is completely fine. But as one might expect, right, you really don't have a lot of motivation to learn something and become adept at using something if honestly you're never really going to use it in your own gameplay. So we've got a pig farm up here. I did not notice on my initial fly around of the map before covering it. Let's go ahead and buy it. Farmland ID 1 of 46. Don't have enough money. Well, that's fine. Let's just buy it. Thank you. So we have our slurry point. Right, and this is just a base game area. So we've got a water fill point here. We have our pig drop off. 270 pigs in here. And then we have our food trough. And then is this a deco building or a usable building? So this is usable. Nice. I like this a lot. Just gonna check our build mode out. Is this building available in the map? Please be... Nope, nope, that's a different one. That's a different one. Doesn't look like it is. Dang it. Then we have our laundromat. Cow barn. Horses, pigs, sheep. Yeah, we'll head down here to the next set of hotspots. We have our grocery sell point. We're located right there, and we have then our laundromat, which is really just the tailor. Across the parking lot. So we have our dump point, we have our wardrobe trigger, our interactive icon, and then our pallet spawn point for our clothing. Over here we have a buy point for lime and salt. And around the back we have sell point. So this is going to be a silo for storing product, not a sell point. Similar to the other silo that we saw over at public storage. Interesting road layout on this map. Nice winding roads. Our sugar mill, as we saw during the flyover. Base game sugar mill, so we have our interactive icon and pallets on the front. Dump point around the back. We're going to meet up to the road just north of field 82. That's going to take us over here. A couple of keen points of interest. So we have another flour mill. Remember, we have 3 on this map. Interactive icon, dump point, and pallet spawn point. South of Small Field 85. And this looks like it's going to be set up to be a wood sell point. So we have our wood dump trigger and sell trigger there. It's going to accept wood chips and logs. Made our way up to the Erlenrot town, just south of the river. And in here we have a few sell points and production points. So here we have our cheese factory. We have our grocery sell point. Right here. There we go. We have our interactive icon, we have our dump point, and our cheese pallet spawn point. Thought it was going to be over on the other side. We have fuel point. We have our chocolate here. With our pallet, interactive icon, and a dump point. Up along the river we have a diner sell point. Mama Joe's Diner. Further up here to our right we have another gas station. And continuing along the river, we have our dairy. So our pallet point, our dump point, and our interactive icon at the front door. We're coming over here to the biogas plant. Large BGA. It's going to be our dump point for our slurry. Of course, we have our two digesters, our interactive icon, the two large three-sided silage bunkers, our digestate fill point. Now, as we make our way across the river, let's talk about our scoring metric. We're going to be giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We're also going to be giving the map a full point with respect to the ability to sell all of our basic crops, animal outputs, and productions. With respect to the farms being customizable, we're going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point there. While the main starting farm can be completely sold, the secondary farm in the horse and cows had a few residual items that could not be sold. Just discovered the pig area. We did not actually try to sell anything at the pig area, but either way, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point there. Here we have our bowling alley with our sell point around back. this is going to be a storage silo. And the third storage silo on the map that is not tied to any one particular farm. So we have our dump inside and we have our fill pipe outside. And we're finally making our way back up to where we would cross the waterway to get to our starting farm. That's not where we're going. No, we're gonna go up across the northern edge of the map. Here we have our third flour mill that we're going to take a look at. So we have our interactive icon, we have our pallet point, and we have our dump point for our flour mill. I think we'll just maybe get the fuel point up there between fields 110 and 111. I think we'll skip the spinnery over there by field 1. It's the base game spinnery after all, just for the sake of trying to shorten the map video up just a little bit. We're going to make our way over here, kind of come in the back way of the horse farm. So we have a horse pasture. 14 horses. For food and straw. Now this is not bale storage. This is just a standard deco building. And I can sell this building. I can sell that building. But I can't sell these lights beside the buildings. Not a huge deal. There's a lot of land there. You could really work around those light poles being stuck there. Up the hillside we have then our silo. I could sell a silo again, but the lights are going to remain. And then further around we have a fuel storage, and then we have the farmhouse, the barn there, and this barn. They're all completely unusable farm barns. They can be sold though, so that is a good thing. And then coming down the hill here, we have another biomass heating plant for wood chips and logs. We have our stone crusher. We have a grocery sell point. The S-Mart right there. It's smart to shop at S-Mart. Da, 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 da. We have two restaurants. And then our farmer's market. It's my way down to the river. next stop is going to be our animal dealer. You do see we have some nice autumn leaves on the roads. That is a part of the Erlengrot decorations, I believe. Now, with respect to buildings and textures where appropriately are using the new texturing technique, we're going to give the map a full point here as well. I do believe we have basically the entirety of all three maps as buildings on this particular map, so they are all using the new texturing techniques. Here we have our animal dealer with our dealer trigger located right there. Wow. That shrub has a collision. Now we're coming in here. We have one bridge crossing right at the edge of the map. I think we have a bridge crossing up here. Yep. By a land bridge. We have our bakery way off. Surprised we don't have our bakery in town. It's way here out of town, actually. Outlet point, dump point along the side, and interactive icon at the front. Shoot across the river. Maybe one year we'll get a splashing effect when we drive through the water plane. We have our bale sell point. And then as we come up to our final point of interest, this is going to be our grape processing facility. Over here on the right. We're going to talk about trigger and interactive icons being clearly marked. I'm going to give the map a full point there as well. So that's going to give this map a score of 4.75 out of 5. Very, very respectable score. Like I said, this map has been out for nearly a year at this point, and just now kind of finding out about it. And it is maybe a little bit of a hidden gem if you are looking for a 4X map with mostly flat fields and a kind of an American kind of theme going on here. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.